is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
Excuse me as I rock on. That's Went Away by Dorothy Lane. Dorothy Lane out of Martinez, California. That's out of the Cut and Dry album. Check them out at dorothylanemusic.com. Yeah. Hey, welcome to another episode of Ruel's Running Podcast. I'm your host, Ruel Abadam. What's going on, y'all? As of this recording, and I'm just going to put a stamp on it, it is November 14, okay? So, this thing ain't evergreen because of that silly date that I had just recorded on the recorder. Or maybe it is. Maybe this will go down in history as something phenomenal and that people are going to want to tune into and share with their children. Because I'm going to talk inappropriate stuff. Yeah. What's going on? What's cooking? Cooking. I'm trying to think. Well, most recently what comes to mind is on a cast iron pan for my son's lunch. I cooked them, a Spam and egg fried rice. I know there's a population of you folks who don't know what Spam is, or you have an idea what Spam is and probably grossed out by it, but that's okay because it is gross and delicious at the same time. It is not the most optimal. It is a processed meat. It is not optimal meat, but there was a time when that was all you got, especially time of war, right? You need canned goods to keep you going somehow, one way, shape, or form, right? And then there's a generation of folks that lived through that and benefited from that and carried it over through their day-to-day lives post-war, right? And it came in handy for things like when it wasn't wartime, but let's say you're living on a small tropical island on the Western Pacific and super typhoon hits, wipes out the power, right? Wipes out a bunch of utilities, and all you've got is the wind and rain, candlelight, because it's very romantic when a storm pounds on an island. But refrigeration isn't a luxury. It isn't a thing. It isn't functional. So you go to canned goods. And so it's this post-war generation that learned, stocking up on these canned goods, before the storm hits is a good idea. And Spam is one of those things. Spam is pork, processed pork product. So what? It's not as, bacon isn't as processed. Bacon is clearly, you know that it's a cut off of the animal, because you know what? Meat comes from animal, folks. If you're tuning in, meat comes from animals, and animals are delicious. And don't you tell me that they're innocent animals, because all animals are guilty of being so damn delicious. Yeah, and it's us as humans, because we are very, very smart, too smart for our own good, that apparently humans are destroying the planet. I'm just going to go off on different tangents. Humans are making an impact on the planet, but humans, in my opinion, are not destroying the planet. We're not that powerful. Even if we were to, in my opinion again, set off a metric shit ton of explosives, we're not destroying the planet. Meaning, when I say destroy the planet, meaning supernova. I'm talking like dust, right? So, shit ton of explosives, on the planet, makes an impact on the planet, but isn't going to destroy the planet. We're not that powerful. Who do you think you are, Thanos? So, in my opinion, the planet is going to die when it's time to die. And there's nothing that we can do to prevent that from happening. Okay? So there are groups, there are people, there are organizations that think that, you know, they want to be warm and fuzzy, so they promote lessening the impact on the planet, which I think is great. It can make you feel warm and fuzzy. If you can make a difference, you know, you can be smart, make a difference, recycle, right? Don't waste resources. That's great, right? Don't destroy the heck out of trees and stuff. If you have the opportunity to reduce the methane produced on whatever, do it, right? There are some things you can't control, right? Like the shitting of cows. You can't control the shitting of cows, can you? Are you that smart as a human to control the shitting of cows? Right? Anyways, that all came from the topic of what's cooking. The shitting of cows. So yeah, my son got a little serving of Spam fried rice. I learned to cook in appropriate portions so that after I make what he needs for lunch, I'm not left with extra to gotta figure out what to do with. Anyways, that's what's cooking. What else? Been doing tons of baking. For those who don't know, on top of operating software and design sort of jobs and duties, I also carry over some design over into baking and help my wife with her bake shop. Yep. Which is, busy. People wonder, how the heck do you do it? How do you take a job, do a job? How do you manage as many kids as you have and still do baking and all that stuff? That's a good question. So now we're moving on to from food to family. That's a good question. I work for a company that is in the sort of mental health space, and I read some content regarding burnout. And burnout can come from work, overwork, but also burnout can come from taking care of elderly family members and taking care of special needs kids, right? So, I can fall under, all of those things one way or another, and I could say I'm burned out. Here's the interesting thing. You can do a lot as long as the things that you do sort of satisfy you. It's not the quantity overall that you're doing, but there's a portion of those things that you're doing, and if all of them if the whole thing can be satisfying to you, then it isn't work, and it's actually therapeutic. So, when I sit down and I decorate cookies, and I'm shaping the dough, and I'm baking stuff, and I'm outlining icing, and I'm coloring in, I'm filling in icing and all that stuff. There's a creative side to it, And it's kind of therapeutic, you know. And then when you produce it and then you see your end result and see how beautiful it is, you know, it's really gratifying. Also, when people consume it or they order it and they leave their reviews and their feedback about how much joy it brought to their life at that moment, then that's an additional level of good feeling and gratitude. So there you go. That's how you can do so much and not really be burned out. But the moment any of those things become non-satisfying and then it just becomes tedious work, then burnout can happen. So you got to be careful. There you go. Do you need a website? If you're an individual, a consultant, a group, or small business and need a site, or maybe you have an existing site, I can help. How about graphic design? Do you need a design for a t-shirt, logo, product, business cards? You know, maybe you need help with designing and developing a brand. I'm not an expert, but I do have the tools and the techniques to get the job done. How about a podcast? Yep, like this thing. This thing's a silly little show. Are you looking to set up a podcast of your own? Are you looking to reach an audience? Promote your business via podcast? Well, Abadam Studios. That's right, Abadam Studios. Yeah, so that's Abadam Studios. AbadamStudios.com, AbadamStudios.com. Check it out. Okay, I'm back. So, just want to put it out there. I ain't ran for shit. And I need to get back into it. I actually brought my gear in the other day. So, the plan was, I'm gonna take that hour midday and go for a run. Gotta get back into it. You know, I wasn't sure it was really gonna happen, but I figured if I took that step to actually pack my gear and shove it in my backpack and go, that, you know, there's a chance that I'm gonna get it right. And and what ended up happening was I just got caught up with work, and some of the coworkers were like, hey, you know, let's go to lunch. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for lunch. It was a kind of a group outing that, you know, used to do every now and again with the team, and it was like we hadn't done it in a while, so I was like, wow, really, we're gonna do that? We're gonna get to do that again? Like, sure, I'll hop along. And it was kind of funny because the group was trying to figure out where to go, and one of the choices was nearby, and another choice was kind of across town. Not, you know, I don't know, like a 15-minute walk or something. And I'm game for, like, if I'm not gonna run, I'm game for going to the restaurant that is furthest from the office. So we did that. So the good news is my gear is packed and waiting for me. I just need to break it out. So maybe that'll be the next day. Yeah. So what else is going on? Been really, really busy with things related to the bake shop, and been really busy with things related to Abadam Studios. I recently helped family member, like my wife's cousin, with her online portfolio, her e-portfolio. So she's completing her, working towards completing her master's program, and one of the things that she needs to be able to show is sort of a culmination of all her work, and so she's not, her strength isn't building websites and things of that nature. So she was mostly there. She, you know, she went online, looked at an online tutorial to figure out how to do that stuff herself, and, you know, she got her content online, and then I just had to sort of pick it up where she left off and kind of give it my take onto things. So, and she ended up being happy and thanked me for it. happy to, and it gave me the opportunity to learn a different web building platform, other than what I've been doing for all my other websites and websites that I manage. So there you go. It's cool. There was a period where I was wondering, like, I have not really tapped into much of my building and creative side, outside of the office type work. And I was wondering when I was going to get any sort of like push or inspiration or motivation. And then suddenly, things started to pick up again. And so who knows what else is going to happen. And it's exciting, but there's a little bit of fear, like, oh God, am I going to have more than I can handle? And I'm just going to have to roll with the punches and figure it out. That's that. Hey friends. Hey bitches, I'm back. It's another day, it's another segment of the episode, and that's how I'm gonna roll. So, I was thinking that I should talk about kind of what's at top of my mind. And right now, it just happened. Got a call from Lonnie. What's up, Lonnie? Had to do, he needed some help with his website. And, I'm glad we figured it out. Yeah. Good times. So what else is on top of my mind? I am on the road again. I just can't stop being on the road again. And I have no friends. Just this microphone on the road again. I'm going to Walmart Neighborhood Market to buy some maple extract for my babe, who's gonna do some early baking tomorrow. Yeah. What else is going on? I'm actually driving intoxicated, so don't call the cops on me. I was supposed to be in bed right now and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do to pass out, like watch some Kung Fu on Netflix, or get on the computer and maybe do some work. I'm going to do a bit of programming, try to do some test automation. That's what I do. Do some test automation, try to integrate some visual testing on mobile apps, right? But no one cares. At least no one who listens to this cares. Nobody on this podcast cares that I do software testing. Nobody here cares that I do automation. Sounds kind of dorky to me, right? But apparently, it's a thing. And as long as it's a thing, that's a good thing. And to be honest, as dorky as it may sound, I kind of dig it. I dig it. I kind of dig it. What else is on top of my mind? I just finished baking, believe it or not. I'm going to say it. 3 dozen sugar cookies. Oh, yeah. Apparently, I should put on my resume that for the past year, I've been a baker. I've been a baker. Can you believe that? I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it growing up as a fat kid, thinking, someday I'm going to be a baker. Because you know what? As a fat kid, I only wanted to eat the baked stuff. I didn't want to be the one making it. Speaking of fat kid, one of my favorite desserts as a fat kid was leche flan. Does anybody know what that is? Raise your hand if you know what leche flan is. Leche flan! It was interesting because we had a neighbor across the street when I was a kid growing up who would make it for special occasions, like when my brother and I, because we shared the same birth month, when we would have birthday celebrations at the house. Birthday celebrations, by the way, were not like, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. And at the end of the day, we would have eaten pizza and cake and played video games. And all of the adults would have had pizza and cake, but no video games, maybe just supervised. As a kid, it was fiesta time. Fiesta time. What did that mean? It meant there was real freaking food for everyone to eat. Right? Big old table. You got real food. Meat, starch, veggies, pastries, meat, veggies, meat, fish, seafood, meat, dessert. And off to the side, there wasn't a bartender. No damn bartender. There were just trash cans filled with drinks and ice. And when that ice melted, it was water and ice and drinks in cans and bottles. We're talking about beer. We're talking about beer. We're talking about beer. We're talking about soda. And we're talking about soda. And we're talking about beer. And we're talking about soda. No bartender. No carding. It was just understood. The adults had the beer. Anyone else, feel free to have soda. As far as what was on the table, and it was a long table. Centerpiece was a whole roast pig. We called it lechon. Lechon. Right? At the head of the table, when you start, you basically lined up in two lines on each side, left and right. Start off with your paper plates. Get your spoon and fork. Get your napkins. Boom. Starch. You got white rice. You got red rice. This is Guam, baby. White rice, red rice. Sometimes there'll be a dinner roll because, every now and then you want to kind of switch it up. You want to feel kind of honky. That's because that's what we said about white people. We call them honkies, right? And, or stateside. Stateside, because that's how I grew up. Growing up on a little tiny island on Guam, everything else, stateside, right? You got your dinner rolls, right? You didn't have French fries. You didn't have mashed potatoes. You didn't have a baked potato. You had white rice, red rice, maybe a dinner roll, right? What came up next? Ooh, maybe you got pancit. What's pancit? What's pancit, yo? Pancit. Noodles, veggies, meat. Sometimes it's an egg noodle, sometimes it's a rice noodle. Pancit, right? More starch with a little bit of veggie, a little bit of meat. What else you got going on? Ooh, you got lumpia. What's lumpia? Well, Chinese have egg rolls. Lumpia kicks egg rolls in the ass. Despite Kung Fu, lumpia kicks egg rolls in the ass. Why? Because lumpia has meat and veg. Not this bullshit vegetarian egg rolls with just cabbage and a little bit of cabbage and a little bit of, I don't know, whatever spice bullshit. Right? I mean, you're going to make an egg roll with just cabbage and fry it in some bullshit oil, and then you say, here you go. Would you like some egg rolls? And then you're going to dip it in some bullshit sugary sauce. Bullshit sugary sweet and sour sauce or chili sauce. What's the point? Lumpia. Filipino lumpia kicks Chinese egg rolls in the ass because it has pork, shrimp, maybe on a good day it'll have veggies. But it was fucking good. Right? What else we got going on? Ooh, you know what? People that hosted the fiesta, the birthday fiesta, the wedding fiesta, whatever it is, they had barbecue. What kind of barbecue? Not this sugary maple leaf syrup barbecue, right? But it was barbecued chicken. It was barbecued tri-tip steak. It was short ribs. It was marinated in a little bit of soy sauce and lemon and onion and garlic. Yeah, maybe someone threw in some Sprite or 7-Up in there. But it's basically soy sauce based. And it was good as fuck. So you got chicken, you got beef. What else you got going on? I already talked about the whole roast pork, the whole roasted pig. This is the stuff that you would get at somebody's ranch. You would say, "Hey man, can I buy a whole pig from you?" Sure. Boom. Take the pig home. Right? Or wherever. And you slaughter the pig right then and there. That is right. Young folk, meat comes from animals. And in order to eat the meat, you need to kill the animal. Why? Because that's just how the food chain works. Get your meat from the animal. Kill the animal. Get your meat. Sure would be hard to get your meat if you didn't kill the animal. Kill the pig. One fiesta for a friend's upcoming wedding reception, we killed 2 pigs. A boy and a girl. They were brother and sister. All you animal lovers who don't like to hear that and feel sad about hearing that, go fuck yourselves. Because that's food. It's not a fucking friend. That's fucking food. You kill the animal to get the meat. You put the meat in your belly and you live. Isn't that amazing? Build your muscles and build your strong bones. Right? Not this bullshit grains. Bullshit grains. Make your bones weak. You fucking weak fuck. Eat your meat. That's the way it's supposed to be. You want to be a fucking pussy and eat your grains only and not eat meat? Go for it. Pussy. Get off my podcast, goddammit. Anyways, what else is down the line? God, there's so much, man. I mean, they'll pickle cucumbers, but they're not really pickling it. Let me rephrase that. It's cucumber salad, but it's not really what you think it is. It's sliced cucumber marinated in a little bit of soy sauce base dressing. Not really dressing, kind of like I don't know, maybe you can call it a dressing. And it's delicious. What else? Ooh, sometimes there's a corn soup. Yeah, I know I was talking down at Grains, but this is coconut milk, some shredded chicken, some corn, some onions, maybe some chicken broth, and maybe some shredded imitation crab. It's so good. What else? It's been so long. Sometimes it isn't barbecue. Sometimes someone just brings in slices of beef, like steak. Oh, yeah, so good. Sometimes someone brings in a fish dish. Maybe it's grilled, barbecued. Maybe it is dressed. Maybe it is kind of like a stuffed bangus, right? Filipino style. You take a bangus, which is a milkfish, and then you stuff it with meat. Whoa, fish stuffed with meat? That is amazing. You damn right that's amazing. Sometimes there's a shrimp dish. It's a dish with like whole shrimps, and you gotta either eat through the shell or just peel the shell. Either way, it's so delicious, right? You got, what else? You got a chicken dish. You got what's called kadunpika, right? That's like a stewed chicken, but really, really spicy. Basically sitting on like a Tabasco broth. What? Gotta try it. Not kidding. Not kidding. Not kidding. Not kidding. Not kidding. Yeah. You know, and I don't know. Islanders like mac salad. I'm not a big fan of mac salad these days, but I get it. Mac salad, man. Mac salad. Macaroni salad, egg, mayo. Maybe you got a little bit of tuna in there. Maybe you got a little bit of, I don't know. But it's just so good. So good. You know. And once in a while, some old, like, let's put a salad together. But that's just bullshit. You know, some bullshit iceberg lettuce. Maybe someone will make a coleslaw. That's a little bit more hearty. Right? Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Ooh, empanada. Chamorro empanada. What's chamorro, folks? Well, the folks from Guam, they're called chamorro. I'm not talking about residents, but people who are from Guam from the get-go, they're chamorros. And I love chamorros. You know, I'm not chamorro, but the next best thing to, I mean, they're like, you know, born and raised alongside in the culture, on the island, you know, close to my heart. You know, I have nephews and nieces, you know, half. It's in their blood. It's their heritage, you know. So, you know, through them, I'm connected. Through my upbringing, I'm connected. What else? Filipino empanada. What is that about? Ooh, it's like a turnover, right? It's got meat in it. A little bit of, it might have raisin in it, potato, carrot, meat's in there. So good. So good. God, you know. And somewhere along the line, there's a bunch of desserts. Filipino desserts, chamorro desserts, and the traditional American style of celebrating birthdays with a birthday cake. Yeah, good stuff. Fiesta. Not no damn Chuck E. Cheese. Not no damn pizza and potato chips and juice boxes. We're talking like meat and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, peeps. Before I call it a show, before I call it a variety show, let's strike up the band. What's the band got to say?
Second harvest of Silicon Valley.
No. There you go. My presets on radio suck. Ain't that the thing? It's like radio. My kids don't get radio. They don't get it. With all this on-demand stuff. One of my sons is like, I don't like the sound of static. I'm like, lucky for you, it's an option to not have to hear static. But when I was growing up, man, that was just accepted. That was just the way it is. You know? And you appreciated it, being able to hear your favorite song on the radio waves, despite a little bit of static, because you got to hear something. You got to hear a station. Anyways, before I go, folks, don't do as I say and don't do as I do. Just listen to me, because you have nothing else to listen to. How about that? Let's call it a show. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. Eat something delicious, hug your friends, and go run something.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.